Hey guys, welcome back. I feel like I have not been on YouTube in far too long. It's been a very long time, but there's been a lot going on in my life that has been extremely distracting, and that's the purpose of this video, is to update you guys on what the heck's been going on. So I guess we'll just hop right into it. I'm obviously driving, so it's going to be in portrait mode. I apologize, but it is what it is. So I started my IVF cycle. I was going to document it all the way through. I was going to do it all the way through. And I just did not feel like I had the mental capacity to take on YouTube and filming and editing and doing all of it while going through IVF. And if any of you have gone through IVF or you've been on any kind of hormones or anything like that, you know that your emotions just go up and down, and it's just a roller coaster of craziness. And it definitely was for me. So I did myself a favor and I took kind of a mental health break. So I'm back. So we'll see how long it is till I get this actual video edited and up, but I figured while I was driving in the car, I went to the grocery store, I might as well talk to you guys. So the scoop is my grandfather, who was in home hospice now for a few months, he slowly started not really recognizing anybody, not being able to really talk or breathe. So he passed away on October 7th, and ironically, that was also the same day as my FET, or my frozen embryo transfer day. So it was just extremely, extremely hard going through all of the shots, going through all of the hormones, the emotions. That was hard in itself. And I had thought about postponing IVF because of Grandpa, because I didn't know how hard I was going to take it. And I don't mean to say that in an insensitive manner, like how hard, like obviously I'm not taking it well, but I spent every day pretty much of my first 19 years of my life with my grandpa. So I was really, really close to him. And I can honestly say that I can't say that, oh, I wish I had more time with him, because I spent so much time with him and all of it was wonderful, and I miss him. I love him. And I know he's definitely, watching me, and he loves me. And I feel like I mourned him probably starting July really hard. And when he actually passed, it was kind of a good thing, because my mom said that he was, kicking and struggling and fighting for air almost as if he was drowning. So, and of course, it was home hospice. They had medications to keep him calm. They had all of that, but it was still very, very hard for him. And that's really sad. So my mom said once he finally went, it was a relief to her, because it was very, very hard for her to watch that. Luckily, I think my grandma was already asleep, because he did pass away at 4:07, 4:02, something like that in the morning. And I kind of had known he was going to go either that night or the following day. And I had been up there 2 days prior, and it was so nice. I was able to just kind of spend one-on-one time with him, even though he wasn't all the way there. I got to spend time with him, and I don't know, I kind of felt like I said my goodbyes then, just because I knew how, downhill he was going so quickly. And I knew my frozen embryo transfer was coming up. So I was like, okay, I need to spend time with him today, because I don't know, nothing is certain ever, but I spent that time with him. I was grateful for it. And yeah, so moving forward, I had tried so hard to keep my frozen embryo transfer, like the whole cycle, a secret from my mom, because ideally what I wanted to do was I wanted to do it all, do my transfer, wait to see if the transfer took, if I got pregnant or not. And then I wanted to invite her over for dinner and ask her to go into, my girls' room and get them some pajamas. And then when she opened up the drawer, there would be a shirt or something, surprising her, because she keeps asking me, well, she did. She kept asking me and asking me and asking me. She's like, I want another grandbaby. When are you going to do it? You got to get on this. And it was so hard. My mom's my best friend. So it was so hard to keep that from her. Oh, it was hard. So the night before Grandpa passed away, my mom called and she said, with a hospice nurse there, if you feel like you've said your goodbyes, you could wait until tomorrow, embryo transfer day, or you need to come tonight. And at that point, it was so late and I was so fragile and emotional and I just didn't know how I felt about everything. And honestly, I watched my dad pass away and I just didn't want to see my grandpa, who's also like my dad, pass away. That's just not something that I felt strong enough for. I wanted to be there for my mom and my grandma, but I knew at that point, the next day, I had my transfer. So I really had to be on my A game and focus on me and make sure I had enough fluids in me and was following all of my medications correctly amidst all the craziness going on. And at that point, I had to tell my mom, the cat was out of the bag. I had to tell her, because what was I going to do? Not tell her and be like, oh, sorry, Mom, I can't be up there with you when Grandpa's, passing away. Obviously I wanted to be there to support her. And so I just burst into tears the night before and I was like, Mom, I really wanted to keep it a surprise. And she's like, what, honey? And I'm like, I have my embryo transfer tomorrow. And she was like, oh, she's like, you know what? And my mom is just such an amazing woman. Mom, I know you watch my videos. Thank you so much for always cheering me on, rooting for me, being there for me, fighting for me. Thank you. And it literally crushed me that I couldn't be there for my mom and my grandma. And I know they're like, you know what? This is the happiest thing that could happen in this time. Go make us a baby. This is going to be great. Don't worry about it. It's Grandpa's new life, etc. Just so supportive. All of my family, my aunts, my uncles, everybody just rooting for me. But it really, really hurt that I couldn't be there for my grandma and my mom. I'm sorry. I'm not usually a super cry person, but again, I'm on a bunch of hormones, and as of right now, I am pregnant until proven otherwise. So anyway, Grandpa hadn't passed away yet. And I went to bed that night and I dreamt about my grandpa. So when I was a little girl, I lived about a half a mile, maybe a tiny bit more away from my grandparents. And my grandma was a real estate agent. My mom was in school. My dad was working. So if I wasn't in preschool or kindergarten or whatever, I was with my grandpa. And my grandpa's house, he had a workroom. He built rocking chairs. He built wooden rifles. He loved woodwork and he was good at it. And he had this amazing workroom and an old cassette tape boombox, and he would turn on Roger Miller or George Jones or Merle Haggard or Johnny Cash, and I would just be down there and he'd nail one nail into a 2x4 and give me a hammer and let me go to town. But anyway, that workroom. So that night I dreamt that I was in Grandpa's workroom. I don't know how old I was. I don't know. But he had this big saw, or not a saw, I'm sorry, a sander, a big one. And I remember as a little kid, he'd go, come on, touch it. It won't hurt you, touch it. And I'm like, no, Grandpa, no. And when I touched it, I laughed. I just laughed, and he would laugh with me. And it's just such a beautiful memory. It's so random, but it's beautiful. And I have a lot of those memories with my grandpa, you know, going to the Ace Hardware to pick up nails or screws or stain or whatever he needed. Him feeding me just like the bar S hot dogs out of the packet, making me sandwiches that had like turkey and cheese and then like carrots on it, just weird things. Watching Barney with me when I was little, sharing his coffee with me, building blocks with me. You know, we had a very, very strong bond up until he went, and I'm forever and eternally grateful for him and everything that he's done for me in my life. And anyway, I'm sorry. Boy, did I love him. So that night I had that dream, and then I woke up and I realized that my husband Richard wasn't in bed next to me, and I'm like, that's weird. Maybe he's in the bathroom or, you know, whatever. He's doing something. But then I looked at the clock and I'm like, it's kind of early. Okay, whatever. And so at that point, I did try to go back to sleep, and I couldn't sleep. So I reached over, I grabbed my phone, and it was like 6:45 or something like that. And right before I was about to click onto Facebook, Richard came in, and I rolled over, and the look on his face was completely like, I really don't want to tell my wife that her grandpa just died. I guess my mom had called Richard, and they knew that it was a really big day because I had my embryo transfer. And my mom's like, how are we going to tell her? What are we going to do? What's the best way to break it to her? And so he came in, and I looked at him. I said, what? I said, is it Grandpa? And he just kind of went, and I'm like, he's gone. And he went. And he said, I'm sorry, baby. And he came over and snuggled me and hugged me. And to my surprise, I only shed a tear or two because I knew it was coming. I spent that time with him. And I started thinking about the good things. And I said, you know what? I'm going to be upbeat and positive. I'm going to go and try to have a baby boy, which Grandpa always rooted for. He loved my girls to pieces. But anytime I was pregnant, I'd say, Grandpa, what do you want it to be? And he'd always say a boy. And so the embryo that we transferred on the 7th was a little baby boy embryo. 5 days. He was thawed. They said he thawed perfectly. He was nice and fluffy. And Richard and I got to see the embryo go in, and it was just really, really cool. And this might sound really weird, and like people are gonna be like, what? But to me, when they put the embryo in me, I was like, I literally felt like it was a new life, and I felt like he was my grandpa's new life. And I do believe that God gives, and I do believe he takes away. So the timing, ironic, crappy, or maybe a blessing. I don't know. But I thought there was something beautiful into that. It was like the circle of life, literally to the day, you know, happened. And it was just crazy for me. I was just like, wow, this is insane. So anyway, I had the transfer, and then Richard's like, what do you want for lunch? And I wanted Panda Express, so he took me there. And then the rest of the day, I went home and I watched Halloween Town 1 and Halloween Town 2. And I just lazed about, and I did kind of the same thing yesterday. Today was the first day that I kind of really did much of anything. Went out to lunch with my aunt and uncle. Went to the grocery store, did a load of laundry. But I'm pretty wiped out now. So that's what's been going on, guys. But as of right now, I am pregnant until proven otherwise. So it's different with IVF. You don't have the 2-week wait. It's a 10-day wait. So I'm 3 days in, and then I will go in for a beta check, and that is going to let me know if I am pregnant or not. I don't know yet if I'm going to do a home pregnancy test at like day, like 8 or 9. I just don't know if I want to do that. I know a lot of people do, but I don't know if that's for me. So we shall see. But yeah, as of right now, I'm feeling pretty good. I want to try to keep you guys updated more. I know I always say that and then I suck ass. Oh, but I'm doing me. Like, I'm being authentic. I don't always have, my blank together, and that's okay because I am imperfect, but that's all right. So yeah, if anybody out there is going through any kind of mourning or loss, I guess that's the same thing. I guess mourning, what I meant is like, you have a friend or a relative that is currently going through the process of dying, you do start mourning them before they leave. And to you guys, or if you've lost somebody recently, even if it's a pet you lost recently, like I feel for you, and I'm deeply sorry, and I wish you happiness. And one thing that I did learn from losing my dad is it gets better. It does get better. So that's going to be it for this video. I know it was kind of sad, but then kind of happy, but that's kind of how it's been the last couple of days. Sad and then happy. So I've had a lot on my plate. Noelle started school. Meredith is walking and talking and doing a whole bunch of stuff. So life is just happening so fast, and I'm just trying to catch up and like cherish the moments that I have. So anyway, enough. I'm not going to ramble on. I hope you guys all liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. I like to get to know you guys. Even if I'm not on YouTube all the time, I still like to read your comments. And it means the world to me that you guys actually watch and leave a comment. So thanks in advance, but I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys. Oh, I was also going to say, I'm going to go ahead and insert here the video of Richard and I on our FET day, just because I took that video and I just thought it was really, really cute. So I'll insert that here. But you guys have a great one. Bye. It is transfer day. How do you feel, Richard?
Yes.
How do you feel?
I'm ready.
He's ready. I'm ready. And I'm brave as a mother.
Very brave and strong.
Let's do it.